Hello everyone, this is Leimomi Keliikuli, intuitive soul alignment mindset coach here, and I am so excited to share with you some new insights, some new news in order to get to your goals in life and to help you to, with your mindset and the tools that you will need in order to get to where you want to go. So in today's episode, I want to talk about actually the number one reason why you are missing your seven-figure goals. And a lot of people don't really realize that when you are going along in your journey in this stage in your business, there are very big shifts that needs to be made before you go after the bigger version goals. So I'm an intuitive soul alignment mindset coach, so I basically help my clients to up level, to scale their business to the next level based upon their goals, to fulfill their purpose, to get into more in alignment to the way that their show was designed. So I basically kind of give my clients the shortcuts in order to get there faster and in record time. So this is something that a lot of people don't really understand about when you are a six-figure business owner and getting to multiple six figures and then getting from multiple six figures to seven figures. There's actually a huge amount of shifts that needs to take place before you can even get to that level. So actually, honestly, getting to your six-figure mark can be very quick and simple and easy. Of course, there's a lot of challenges of being a six-figure business owner, but one of the things that six-figure business owners don't actually realize is that the thing that they're missing the most inside of their business and in their life is actually mindset tools in order to get to that next level. So it's easy to make 10K months, or 20K months, but to make that consistently, it requires a lot of restructuring, rebranding. It takes, market research and doing all the internal systems, processes, and strategies to get you there. So on top of that, of course, you do need to make those shifts. So I'm not saying that it's just super simple. There's a lot of actual actions that you need to do in order to get to that next level. So today, actually, I want to talk about the specific mindset shift that needs to happen in order for you to go beyond the six-figure mark, okay? So keep in mind that this shift of doing inner mindset work to get to that next level, right? It's so important to understand that when you are getting closer to your seven-figure goals, or getting closer to that $1 million mark plus, in order to get through it, you have to actually see specific mindsets that you are pushing yourself backwards, right? So you go like that back and forth type of in your income, right? Going back and forth into what you actually want to help people. And one of the biggest reasons why you don't get to that next goal actually has to do with this specific mindset that I have found from doing a lot of research that most six-figure business owners or multiple six-figure business owners have, that actually stops them from getting to that next mark, right? To hitting that seven-figure mark, right? That $1 million plus mark. And so I'm about to tell you what it is, right? It's this idea, right, that you have in your mindset, which is, I'm afraid if I'm successful, right, that everything will fall apart. That as fast as I built my empire, right, as fast as I built everything I did in my life and my business, all the money will disappear. Everything will just kind of fall apart, right? So where does this mindset come from? It usually comes from a story behind the way that your parents viewed money, that you saw that, okay, if I, take these bigger steps to make more money, right, that I'm going to go backwards just as much as I went forward. So it is true that on an energetic level, you do need to be careful of not trying to overextend, right, your money goals, because otherwise if you go too far and you stretch too far, you rubber band just as much back, right? So if you went from 0 to seven figures, you rubber band just as back, and then you end up with no income, right? some no income months, you get, chronic fatigue, you've got all kinds of other symptoms that doesn't really just come out of nowhere. And if you don't take very good care of yourself at that level, you're going to hit this specific mindset, right? Which I just said, which is I'm afraid that if I'm successful, that everything will fall apart, and that as fast as I built my empire and made money, my business, right, it would just disappear. And it's so true. This is why, like, when people win the lottery, right, or they win big money at once, they kind of like go into homelessness, or they spend it all like in a whole night or something like that. And the reason is because if you're not able to sustain yourself in that frequency, you're going to end up rubber banding energetically back. So I wanted to bring that up because many people have this mindset, but you don't really realize that when you're at that mark, when you're trying to get to, past multiple six figures and more, like that's what's blocking you from moving forward. So, and then the other thing that most people don't know about why they don't hit that mark is because their biz model just doesn't fit their specific soul. So when I work with my clients, I actually find what their superpower is, what their specific energy of their soul is, because that tells me everything about their life and their business, how they want to show up, what is their purpose, what is their why. Because of course, being in your why and showing up for your audience is so important, but also you have to do the inner work to really see what kind of model really works best for you. And what happens is if it doesn't work for you and you created a business that's not aligned to your soul, whether it's online or offline versions, right? You end up working 10 times harder, 5 times harder, depending on your goals, right? You end up working harder than you need to, and you're in this struggle. So then, of course, when you're in that struggle, the first thing that the thought comes in your mind, yes, I am afraid that if I do this, I keep going this way, trying to be successful, right? I'm going to lose it all. It's so true. It's absolutely true. And so you have the key thing to do is, number one, right, work on your inner mindset about this specific mindset. And I'm talking about number 2 is figure out what is the business model that your soul is designed, whether it's more offline version or online version, because that tells everything about how to market, how your audience wants you to show up, and all of that comes with that, right? The third thing I want to bring up is that, again, you will find the solution is actually lying behind having an exact team, a specific team, according to your type of business model, right? Whether it's online or offline. And that ratio between how you built your team is going to make a huge difference in being able to hit that 7-figure plus mark. So not what you thought, right? You didn't think like, well, I thought maybe it was just I didn't do a good enough launch, or I didn't like do specific strategies that really work for me or stuff like that. It's actually what you've missed is those 3 major things, right? Your biz model is not aligned to your soul. It's not the right version of your online or offline version. You have that one specific mindset, right? If I'm successful, everything will fall apart just as fast as I received the money that came in, right? The money will go out. And third, the final solution is you have to build that specific team that will support you so that you feel like, okay, as you're changing that mindset, right, to having it all, right, you do need that support in the background that's specific to your type of soul. And once you do these 3 major things, hitting your 7-figure goal is easier and faster because you have, number 1, the support. Number 2, you will feel supported, so then you can go after that specific goals, right? Number 3, you'll feel your business model really feels aligned to who you are at soul level, right? Whether online or offline. And number 4, like you won't be afraid to go to that bigger goals because underneath you feel completely supported. Because the real reason behind why you didn't hit your goal is because you don't feel supported. Whether it's with your family or your relationship or with the way you're working, every day because you're just working really, really hard, getting to past that 6-figure mark. But at the point when you need to get to the 7-figure mark, it requires a lot of energy and support from others behind you, pushing you forward. So if you haven't worked out any of those inner relationships and money relationship type of issues that you're having internally with your mindset, right, and the right strategies, you won't be able to get there as fast as you would like to. So here's the mindset that you need to change to, right, I'm afraid that if I'm successful, everything will fall apart as fast as I received the money, all the money will disappear, right? So changing that into having it all means I am like totally supported. I will have fun doing what I love doing. And when you change into that mindset, everything will just line up. Your energy, you'll be more on fire. You feel more like you're doing it in a specific way, in a specific path that fulfills you as much as you receive, right, the money that comes back in return. I hope that enlightened you. I really, really wanted to make this live stream because I felt like we've been told in our industry that it's something else when it really has to do with the mindset issue, your biz model to your soul, and really building that support team to get you to those goals. If you don't do all three of these things, everything will fall apart. Everything will not feel like you're moving forward. So I hope that helped you. If you would like to know more about this, totally, watch my master classes. I put the link below because I have amazing content to share about a very unique perspective as to why strategies doesn't really work for you in order to get to your 7-figure mark. It's actually a deeper mindset issues and self-love issues that you need to address in order to get to that next level. All right, well, you guys have a beautiful day. Aloha.